Well, you're driving around and you may have noticed there seem to be more panhandlers out on city streets. A common sight just off the freeway on and off ramps, waiting to collect money from kind-hearted drivers.
For some of the men and women who seemingly have fallen on hard times, they're able to rake in some big bucks in an hour or two. Tonight, why the old laws meant to curb panhandling don't work anymore. You see them around town, on street corners, or just off the freeway.
I give money when people ask for it.
Maybe you do too, hoping it's going toward a warm meal or something cool to drink.
I really don't give them money, but if I can offer like a drink or food or something like that, I will give them that, but I just won't give anybody money.
They are in every part of the valley, crossing the street, dangerously close to being hit. And the anti-panhandling laws on the books don't work anymore.
The federal courts all across the country, and last year here in Arizona, ruled that there's a First Amendment protected right to beg in public. So that made our law unconstitutional.
Arizona lawmaker John Kavanaugh says we are already seeing the effects of that ruling. More panhandlers.
They obviously become more emboldened, they become more brazen, they get more in people's faces, and they just create a climate where people don't want to go into urban areas where they see this.
This guy chases after a car with a hand signal for a driver who doesn't offer up cash. Kavanaugh tried to pass a new law to stem the flow of street beggars.
Aggressive panhandling, and that can be outlawed, and that's what my bill would have done.
His legislation passed, but the governor did not sign it.
The governor claimed that that was an issue of local concern or not statewide concern, although I respectfully disagree. This is one of the key reasons why you had massive flight from New York City back in the 70s and 80s, because all of these little indecencies, these little annoyances piled up.
Monica and her husband are panhandlers. She knows that not everyone is happy to see her.
People may not say it, but I know what they're thinking. I even myself have said it. Why aren't they working? Look at them, they can work.
She says people are more giving in the morning.
People are more likely to give on their way to work than they are on their way home, because by the time the day's over, they're so mad and want to get home that, you know.
Monica tells me her money goes toward food and cigs. But David, a former panhandler, says most people working the streets are using the cash to feed a habit.
All my case has been for drugs.
I've been clean for 4 years.
David made enough to feed a drug habit.
When I was out here doing it, I've actually had people give me $50 and $100 bills. You know, an hour, a couple $100. You can make a couple $100. Yeah.
He says there's a lot of money to be made panhandling.
And there were times that I was working to get food, but there are many places around the city here to get food boxes or get fed. Most of the time I was working for something I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Giving money to somebody where you're going to feed their drug habit, where you're going to keep them from going to seek true help, doesn't help them. You're just prolonging their misery, and in the end, hopefully they'll reform and get true help.
Clean and sober, and now sponsoring others who are getting their lives on track. David's glad he doesn't have to work the streets anymore.
I don't regret anything I've done, but today I learned from it, you know, and I don't want to go back there.
John Kavanaugh is running for a seat in the Arizona Senate. He says if he's elected, he plans to pursue that panhandling law once again.